Hey guys, I'm Joy Harris Bird, and this is my Creator Talk. Let's get into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Create a talk.
All right, guys, welcome back to Creator Talk. I am Joy Harris Bird, and today we're talking about things no one told you about making a film. The film is not the hard part. And so today we're going to talk about the things that actually make your film survive: trust, sound, and logistics. And I wanted the executive producer, the CFO, Mr. Logistics, Mr. Sound himself, Kyle Bird, to talk to us about this. Kyle, thanks for joining us again on Creator Talk.
It's a pleasure to be here once again.
So polished. I like that. And I really just want to dive right into the conversation. So, like I said, you were the executive producer on our short film, Deliver Us. So, from an executive producer standpoint, what does trust with the director really look like?
It looks a lot different than what people really think it looks like. But it's not a bad thing. One thing I do know for sure is that trust, uh, it really helps with the speed of things. But it also helps when you have somebody that you can like bounce stuff off of and even allow
Right.
like pushback as well. So yeah.
I thought you were going to say that trust sometimes means saying no, because you definitely said no to a couple of things on Deliver Us. So just kind of talk about that, like how me as the director and you as the executive producer, like sometimes you bump heads a little bit, right?
Yes. We absolutely bump heads. But it's not a bad thing. And
Right.
yes, I did say no quite a bit. But it was because, your imagination is so vivid. And so sometimes you kind of have to like reel a person in and be like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's use that for the next one. Or let's see
Right.
if we
They
can.
keep coming back to back.
They keep coming, keep
Yeah.
coming. Speed, like with you being a creative, your imagination is consistently going, just boom, 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 boom. And if you have trust with your executive producer, which thankfully you had trust with me, man, we were able to really find a good balance between speed and imagination, which was so monumental for this particular film. But yeah, the more trust you had in me, the easier it was to kind of like go and flow with what was going on. So a lot of times we didn't necessarily have like a lot of dead space because we really, once again, back to structure, we had a good structure, but we also have a good chemistry between you, the creative, and me, the logistic type person.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it really lines up with you have to have a good crew. Like I was so happy that you were the executive producer because we do have good chemistry. Like you're my husband. So like we know each other. I can tell when
Right.
maybe I need to back or when I can push it just a little bit further. And honestly, disagreements on set they're going to happen, whether you know the person or not. But you really have to look at the overall vision of the film. So if we had a disagreement, I really felt like that I had to trust that if you pushed back, it wasn't against me, it was for the film. Like you always
Absolutely.
had the film and the company's best interest at heart. But yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about like really the importance of having a good crew and a good team, specifically a good leadership team when it comes to making a film. Like, how important do you think that is?
Is not just important, it's also crucial. Like if you don't have
Yeah.
a good team, if you don't have a good communication or like line of communication with your team, man, it's bad for business. Really, not just for film, but just for really business. I know me specifically, it was so important for me to have a good relationship with not only you, but more strategically the DP, because we were consistently talking back and forth about whether it's shots or the equipment needed for a certain shot, or where do everybody need to stand in the film? Are we in the shot? There's so many things going on. That was a very nice size stage that we had. But
Yeah.
if you're not careful, somebody could be in the shot and you'd be like, "Oh, hold on. I can see you. I can see the reflection of you. I can see that. That's not supposed to be in the shot." So just the communication between me and the DP was so crucial and so important. Also
Yeah,
me with
I
the
have a
sound guy
funny
too.
story about that too, like being in the
Oh
shot.
boy.
So we were in the emotional scene, one of the emotional scenes of the film, and there was a mirror involved. And I asked the DP, I was like, "Do you think I'm going to be in the shot?" And he's like, "Oh no, I don't think you'll be in the shot." And at the time, I didn't have the monitor to see the shot, so I was just kind of standing in on the scene.
Oh
So
yeah.
we thought everything was good. Here comes post production. This clip, this scene is one of the most important scenes of the film. And who do you see in the mirror? Me. I was like, you. And there was nothing we could do about it because this was like maybe weeks later after we filmed. So we had to
True.
get creative and really fix it in post production. But that's just so important. That's another piece of it. Just making sure that you have somebody there at all times who can say, "Hey, you're in the shot," or "Hey, you need to stand here. You need to mark this. You need to mark that." Like just having that person there who can see the full picture. Because a lot of
Mhm.
times, me as the director, I'm so laser focused on making sure we get the shot. I don't see the full picture. But you, as the executive producer, you see the budget, you see the timeline, you see the
Yes.
people, and you see the problems coming before they happen. Right. So did you kind of feel like that on set? Like you sometimes you saw things that could happen before they happened, whereas I was just like, okay, and action. you know?
I know one particular thing was the sound, and we were having some issues with the equipment for the sound. And I was like, "Listen, it's either going to go one or two ways. Either we're going to, I don't want to say the word I want to say. We're either going to make this look very bad aesthetically, but you'll be able to pick up everything, or we could find a way to really fix it the way it's supposed to be." And so once again, me and the DP, we was like, "Yo, we gotta do what we gotta do." So we did what we had to do. We fixed the sound. It had something to do with the mic, but we fixed the mic. Even the sound guy, he started laughing. I was like, "Yo, we gotta get this show on the road." I'm not. It's a very vital piece that was needed, but because we did not have it at that time, we have to do what we have to do. And
Yeah.
we had already, shout out to the sound guy. We had already sent him out twice to get something. I was not about to go out and do that again. So I'm like, "Yo, we're gonna make
Yeah.
this work, and we're gonna get it done." So really
Yeah.
just
Like that's what you do. Like you are the logistics guy. Like honestly, I call you like Mr. Structure. You are the structure of Joy Park for sure. And you are definitely on top of logistics. And that's something else that I feel like people don't tell you before you make your first film is that logistics is so important. Like, what do you think that filmmakers underestimate the most when it comes to logistics?
there's a few things.
Oh,
Most importantly, budget.
come on, come on,
Listen.
checklist. Okay.
No, but for real, like listen, the budget, you have to make sure that your budget is on point and intact
Mhm.
because regardless of what you said is going to be, it's going to be more. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Whatever you said it is, it's going to be more. That's a fact. Once again, same people involved with the sound of the DP. Listen, there were some things that we needed, and the store that I originally got the stuff from was way across town, and we're in Houston. Shout out to H Town. Houston is 1 hour away from Houston. We couldn't do it, so we
That part.
we had to
Right.
we had to go to a hardware store and get stuff that we needed, and so we had to make it work. But just even in that, that's extra money that's coming out that was not originally accounted for. So you have
Right.
to make sure that you're ready and you are structured enough but also a little bit more free flowing to be able to get the job done, because there was no way I was not going to get that job done. That we had everybody set for that time, and I'm like, "Listen, let's just do this, let's keep it moving, and let's keep it pushing."
Yeah.
Lord.
Budget for sure. And planning. Like make sure you plan. Like we've touched on it in the previous episodes, how we really lived off of our call sheet and how we really planned our day. Honestly, I think that planning protects creativity, because if the day
Mm,
runs smoothly, now
that's
I have
good.
space to create, the actors have space to get into their role, the crew has space to do what they need to do to make sure that we bring the vision to life. So I think planning is also so important when you're doing your first film. Like, it helps you to make sure you stay on budget, because you want to
X.
plan for things that may not happen. I think that was something you did too. Like, you planned for things that could happen that maybe we didn't see, right?
One of the biggest challenges and well as I guess you would say blessings is I overthink a lot of different things when it comes to logistics. So I had planned for stuff that didn't even happen for it to happen. So like, in case something went down, if something, failed or whatever the case may be, no, let's move all this stuff in this room just in case something happens. There's a scene where the star of the movie was in a room. I was like, get all that other stuff out the room because the last thing I need is for some random piece of whatever the case may be to be in that shot. And as you explained before, that one shot where you were in, hey, get that stuff. Let's make sure that never happens again. So
Yeah, and honestly, as a director, when the schedule is off, like, it changes the energy of the performances as well. The actors and the crew can tell, like, if the leadership doesn't know what they're doing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think there were moments that we may not have known what we were doing, but we didn't let it show that we didn't know what we were doing. Like, you have to, when you're in leadership on the set, you have to make sure that your actors and your crew feel safe enough to create, because that's really what it's all about. And
absolutely.
honestly, I think the last thing that I really wanted to talk about when it comes to creating this film, I really want to talk about crafting the sound of the film. Sound is so important when it comes to filmmaking. I think it's something that is so often overlooked in filmmaking. And why do you think that is?
I don't know why it's overlooked, to be honest with you, because in my personal opinion, you can make or break a whole film with horrible sound. And we've
Yeah.
seen sounds, and let's just keep it a buck here.
Oh,
We've
do you remember
seen
that one film we watched? Oh, I'm not gonna say the name, but do you remember they I think somebody was shooting the gun and but the
man
gun
was
sound
super
came like
delayed.
what, like 5 seconds after she shot it. It was like,
Yes,
wait a minute. So I mean, just little things like that, like, you have to catch those things. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it made me
no,
think
you
about that.
good.
That was hilarious. And my whole thing when I was doing post production, I was like, I don't want to get caught slipping. I'm like, so I need you to tighten up this sound to make sure it's good.
Yes, absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. Like sound is so important. You can
Yeah,
have a almost I don't want to say that. You can almost have a scene, like an actual visual scene of a film that may not be as pleasing to the eye, but have amazing audio and it will really balance everything out.
yeah,
Well, somewhat. But for the most part, it will definitely balance everything out. But I got a story for you. We was in the middle of a scene. Um, in context, the scene is in a kitchen. That's all I'm gonna say about the scene, but I'm literally sitting at the table while you're in full fledged shoot. My chair, I was moving and I didn't realize it that I was just kind of moving around and I didn't think I was going to make a noise. Sure enough, all you heard was a ah. I was like, hopefully the sound didn't pick it up. But it's one of them things. If you have a shot with two people, you shouldn't hear five. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
like
for sure.
sound is so important. Make sure everything is being heard correctly so you can actually understand what the actors are saying. But in every aspect, sound is I don't want to say the most important thing, but it sure ain't too far down the line.
Yeah, and honestly, fixing sound later is expensive and it's stressful. Getting it right early saves the film. Like, period. Like,
Man,
you want to make sure and things come up. You can overplan, you can have 16 call sheets, you can have like everything, but there still can be this one thing that will happen that you just can't foresee. And I understand that, but I feel like if you take the time to set your sound up on set, it will save you so much hassle in the long run. Like, can you give
So
any
true.
tips to filmmakers for things they can do as far as setting the sound on their set to make sure that they are successful in their film?
Absolutely. So the first thing I would say when it comes to that is make sure that you have all the equipment that you need. Make sure you have all the proper adapters. Make sure you every scene on the call sheet, you need a separate call sheet to make sure that the equipment that you have matches that call sheet,
Mm,
like bar none. Because if you do that, man, it will save you so much time, so much hassle. You'll be able to really go into the scene full steam ahead. You're not overthinking. You're not guessing. You're like, listen, this is what we need. We're set, keep going. But the second, and in my opinion, the most important thing is simplicity over complicated.
mm.
Listen, sometimes you can do one thing with one mic and keep it real, real simple instead of adding three different shots, seven different microphones. Listen, man, let's keep it simple. Let's get this shot. Even it would be better if you did multiple shots with the same thing than having 14 different microphones, and it creates complexity. And that's not what you want when you're doing a film, especially a short film. But as because Deliver Us is a thriller, but it's every sound is so important in a thriller
Right.
because every sound is a statement. Every sound you make in that movie is a statement, whether it's the intro or the outro. Every nook, every cranny, every sound, every screech, everything is important and it makes a statement. Sound makes statements in every film that you're in. So
Yeah.
that's my thing.
That's so good. I mean, I think that's so true. Like, I feel like this has really been a really good conversation. Like, so many tips. Like, you really want to make sure that you have trust between your executive producer and your director, your leadership team, but also make sure you have trust with your cast and your crew. You have to think about, like, you are not on opposite sides, you're just on opposite angles of the same film. So there are things that I see
Mm.
that you didn't see, and there's things that you saw that I didn't see. So it's so important to have trust with everyone, but especially the leadership team should be cohesive. And then also make sure you have your logistics set up and straight and ready to go. Like, I think this has been like so great. I hope you guys have found some useful tips. If you're thinking about making your first film, I think people think filmmaking is about cameras and scenes, but honestly, the real film is built in trust, in planning, and in the invisible part. That is why the film is not the hard part. The leadership is. So thank you guys so much for joining us for our creator talk. Make sure you subscribe to All Things Joy to stay up to date for All Things Joy. And then you can follow Kyle Bird on Instagram. What's your handle?
Instagram is I'm Kyle Bird. On IG, come holler at me, and
And he gonna
yeah,
start
I'll be
posting
right
a
here.
little bit more on IG.
Yes, now that it's out there, yes, I'm absolutely going to start posting more on that.
Yay!
Got
All right. Well,
it.
thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Yeah.